Welcome back to Inside the Business of Acting. I'm Brad Lamack in Los Angeles. We're very happy to have you back for our segment 4 with character actor, author, acting coach, and all-around really wonderful guy, Basil Hoffman. Thank you for sticking around. And this is I get such a joy out of this because here we have these people who are our pals and our students and our teachers who are all over the planet, which is the joy of doing this kind of a program and having a conversation like this on the World Wide Web. And we hope that this is as interesting to you as it is for me, because I'm fascinated by this. So
I am too.
I thank you. And are you enjoying your new Business of Acting mug, by the way, that we have?
I am, actually, and I haven't. And
yes,
yeah,
no, it's the other. We have to want to hold it this way. You want to make sure that, because it's a part of the brand. Okay. No, but you don't want to cover the logo. Yeah, because it's right. It's the branding.
It's hard to drink like this, but I can't.
No, it is. But you did. Hey, you're a commercial success too.
And I didn't miss my mouth.
No.
That was good.
It's all part of the branding process that is the business of acting. Basil has written a wonderful book, the second edition of which is now in your stores and on online e-tailers everywhere, Acting and How to Be Good at It, the second edition with a foreword by Academy Award-winning director Sidney Pollack. I want to talk about what I look at, kind of the nuts and bolts for actors they've come out of college, they've studied acting, they are ready to hit the ground running and have this career. And sometimes they come to New York, and sometimes they come here to Los Angeles, or they're in London or Sydney, or they're wherever they are, or they stay home. So as an actor, as a coach, as an observer in that sense, what do you see are some of the biggest mistakes young or new to the business at any age actors make in those early days?
Well, there are a lot of things. First, let me get to what I think actors need to have straight, and that is their priorities. And when an actor decides to enter the business, he has a short-term goal and has a long-term goal. His short-term goal is to get an acting job. His long-term goal is to have an acting career. The goal is not to get a good acting coach. It's not to get a pretty girlfriend. It's not to get an agent. It's not to get a manager. It's to get a job.
Or may I add, or to get
Absolutely.
in the union right away?
No, I don't even think so.
Okay.
Because that will take care of itself. The first thing an actor has to think about is, how am I going to get the job? Mm-hmm. To get a job, he's going to have to compete. Is he going to have to study? Probably. Even if he's been to college, been a star in college, a star in high school, the standards are different. The quality of the work is different. The emphasis of the work is different. And I think that actors would be good. Number one, an actor should get into a play. A non-equity play, an equity waiver play somewhere. Get into student films. Get involved in the work.
Get some exposure.
Because all of these things, yes, exposure. Exposure to the business, exposure to people who will become important in the business. And one thing that actors must learn to do, and it will take a little bit of time for most of them, they have to learn the difference between what is really good work and competitive work, and what is not yet good work and not yet competitive work. And actors are confronted now, more than ever before, with film. Do you have film? Do you have a website? Can we have access to your work? And if the work that you've done on film, on tape, on DVD, on your website is not high-class professional work, the answer is no, I don't have it. Because you don't want people who are going to take this one shot at you, one look, because there are thousands and thousands of actors. You don't want a casting director to see you not being professional, not being competitive, because that first impression, that first memory may be lasting. It doesn't mean that an actor has to be brilliant at everything, but an actor has to know He has to learn what he does well and where he can compete. And if he has, and there are people who will be glad to do a demo reel for you, good or bad, to make the money. But an actor has to know where he has to spend that money and where not to spend the money. And some of the best film an actor can get is in a student film at a good college, because those people got into those schools by being highly competitive, and they are good, and their future, in a way, they think depends on how good the work is they do in college. And when you do a college film, the chances are good. It's well produced, well directed, well edited, and that's where you get the good film. That's, I think.
Yeah.
So an actor should really strive to get good parts in student films at good colleges, and colleges are all over the place.
Right.
And Los Angeles and New York are filled with colleges that have film departments, and that's a good way to go. But actors have to learn to do the work. They have to study, and if an actor studies with an acting teacher, and that acting teacher claims to also be an actor or a director, the first place that actor should go is to IMDb and see how many lies that person told about their career. No, and you're laughing.
But the truth, it's this whole issue. I love this. Resumes, this whole issue of truth in fiction in resumes or IMDb, wherever you're getting except on yours, because yours is very accurate.
Yeah.
You should go check out Basil Hoffman's It's like 120,000.
But did you find a lot of lies on IMDb? Because I find it very difficult to update my work.
But it's hard to know. You see, that's the thing. It's very hard to know. And the casting director who gets the resume and is looking at the credits, unless the casting director worked on that project that you lied about and knows for sure you weren't in it, nobody knows everything. We're not.
You caught that once.
I did catch that once. Yes.
Yep.
It was Chapter 6 in The Business of Acting, the book. It happens.
But you should say that in this conversation.
Yes.
You should say how that happened.
Well, it was an actor who was seeking representation, as you know, and sent me their photo and their resume, and put down a credit of a production that they claimed they were in, that they had no idea that I was a producer of that project, and I knew they weren't in it. So I called that actor in from. That was like a really. But I needed to.
Big mistake.
Not to call him in, but for him to do it.
Yes.
Right.
And actors ask me, should they lie on their resumes? And I say, number one, make it plausible. Everything on your resume has to be plausible.
Yes.
Now, if you played a minor role in Hamlet,
yes,
let's say, in your college, and you are not a character actor, and you're a leading man, and your work is relatively strong, say you played Hamlet. Who's going to know? You played Hamlet in Hamlet. So give yourself some distinction. But don't say that you played a part in a television show that you weren't.
Right. Or opposite Dustin.
Ever.
When you weren't.
But there's a well-known acting coach who's written books, and she's and I'm not going to mention her name, and she talks about the career she had as an actress and all of this. And you go on IMDb, she had one acting job. One acting job, a little part in a TV episode once. It's nonsense.
I agree, and my take on it kind of is that it's your resume indicates where you are in your career at that point, and be proud of that. Don't rush that. I'm very big on the journey, and I know you are. You believe in the journey of an actor.
Absolutely.
And you have to allow yourself the time and the space and the opportunities that need to come along in order for that journey to take you anywhere.
One of the two things, you asked, what are the mistakes actors make? One of the mistakes actors make, and this is a big one, is expecting things to come to them by waiting for it. Nothing ever happens that way. You have to take the steps. But another mistake which is actually the other half of that coin, is to expect too much too soon.
That's the whole managing expectations thing.
Yes, yeah. And you said things have to play out, and that's exactly right, because everybody, no matter how many credits they have, no matter where their careers are, they started at zero. They started being scared and stupid and not professional yet and not knowing things. But you find them out and you learn them. And then 5 years later, 10 years later, as time goes on, you look back and say, I did all that stuff. How did I get those jobs? I started out so stupid. I started out so untalented. I started out not knowing anybody. How did I meet all those people? How did I get those jobs?
Because you're always a student.
Absolutely. Always. Always. You're always learning, always getting better, and always being surprised. And one of the great things about acting is that if an actor allows himself to be open to the material itself is full of surprises.
You should pick up a copy of Basil Hoffman's book, which is loaded with information that will help you on the journey of your career, acting and how to be good at it. The second edition is now in stores and online e-tailers all over the planet, so it's accessible to you. And thank you so much for being accessible to us for this conversation about the journey of your own career. How empowering to hear the stories and the lessons. And I am just so honored, and I thank you, Basil.
Well, thank you, Brad. Thanks for inviting me. It was really fun.
Oh, see, if he's paying a compliment, I didn't want to step on that. If it's something nice,
don't step on the compliment.
No. And thank you for the whole mug thing. That worked. I'm Brad Lemack in Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us, and you can find out more information about this series of programs and the guests who are on here and all of the stuff we talk about on the resource page at thebusinessofacting.com. Thank you.